morning, Daryl. Or shall I say, Mr. Artist in Recovery. It's 2:36 in the morning, West Coast time. It is the 25th of January, 2024. The Weaver Agency of Rosamond, California is on the air. Okay, so. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about the correction officer. Actually, it wasn't news out here on the West Coast. But we have it all the time. We got it all the time over here in the big cities. Hell, we got it out here in the Antelope Valley. We just don't read about it because it's too commonplace. We're getting road rage. But once it goes into extreme range, when we're talking about injury, firearms, and everything else, yeah, then the local news will get it. But if it becomes more of a big thing about it, then maybe the nationals will pick it up. But for the most part, it's unfortunate. It's gotten more and more crazier with the road rage over the decades out here. I hate to put it in perspective at this point. And yeah, it would be nice and easier if we can just walk away from this kind of stuff. That's what the cops keep saying. But we're dealing with ego. We're talking about pride. We're talking about arrogance. We're talking about all the crap going on inside our damn head. And basically, you as a driver cut me off over here, and how dare you do that to me? I'm Mr. Entitlement. How dare you? So I'm going to chase your ass down, and I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to go all Karen on you. Little do I know that you may or may not have something of a pop thing in your possession that may pop me one. And therefore, I'm either visiting let's see, the emergency room, critical care unit, or at least a morgue. We're doing gambling with our lives out here, Daryl, and it's on a constant basis. No matter how much we can keep telling the people to do, one day at a time, and think about it, think. You still have the road ragers out there, even if you are still stuck in traffic. Like one particular actor we saw. And that's yet to determine whether or not if he actually caused the damn thing or actually somebody else caused the whole thing. We're stuck with one particular video perspective. Now, if there was different video perspectives who caught even a longer piece of the thing, that would have been great because we would love to see the context of that one. And yes, this particular actor went crazy. We wanted to protect his child, but man... Daryl, you're not a father. I'm not a father. But what I'd seen, it's either a father trying to protect what's his, or maybe his head going off a bit, but we don't know the beginning of the damn thing except what some of the people have said started. So if they're trying to do some kind of bumper tag or something like that, both are indicated, both are involved in a situation. So now the perspective is going to be coming down on the guy who popped with his firearm on his supposed assailant. Was it self-defense or not? We needed witnesses on this one. Hell, it would have been better if we actually had cameras on the damn thing to capture the whole thing, so we can get the entire perspective on it. There would have to be witness testimonies to verify both sides of the story so we can get an accurate picture of it. But since there was only reporting of two guys going after each other on the road being idiots, then I assume both guys are idiots. Except one guy had to utilize his gun. And here's the thing, he's a correction officer. He should have known better. He should have known better. But he didn't. He's lost custody of his kid. He's already lost his job. Pending a further investigation at this point over here. Even if they clear his ass, he's already out of his job. because of the shooting incident. And he left the scene. Now, if he actually had called 911, hindsight being 2020, if he had called 911 and had that recorded somehow, it would have been better if he actually had a camera on, but he didn't. Maybe he would have had a better story at this point over here. Was it the other guy's fault? Even if he started it, the correction officer should have just been, okay, fine, de-escalate. If he's been on the job for a few months, rookie. But if he's been on the job for a long time, then maybe he's conditioned concerning about what a prison's like, but he should have known better. That's the problem. He's a correction officer. He's part of the law enforcement, however, lower down in the ranks, but still, once you're given that badge of trust, you're held accountable. I'm sorry. You should have known better. And what's going to be damaging is he's going to be losing custody of his kid. Be placed in the system. Now, if he's got parents or grandparents or cousins or somebody to take care of the kid, family, kin, that would have been okay. Because she would have been okay in a different environment, which would not be harsh for her. Out here in California, especially out here in Southern California, you don't want to be growing up in foster care at the time. You don't. And you don't want to be dealing with some of these other situations happening in homes. Where some of them kids are actually leaving or committing crimes or doing stuff. Some of them are surviving, thriving. Maybe a few of them get adopted out if they're lucky enough. Maybe by the foster homes. Becoming part of a family. At least a fairy tale sometimes like that. But as for the regular stuff, that's a different story altogether. I feel sorry for the kid at this point over here. Because she's got to deal with dad now. She's got to deal with a different dad now. Why? What's going on? How come dad's not here? And maybe a serenity prayer would have helped in an idealistic situation over here. But I'm still thinking he should have known better, damn it. We can talk about 2020 at this point over here, but the thing is his actions dictated what the hell the rest of his situation is going to be like. Which is basically he's in trouble. No, I don't have any sympathy at this point over here except for the kid. Does it make me angry at him? No. I feel sorry for the bastard. Even if he was cleared, he still would have to fight through the court to get custody back of his kid. Now, if he is married, they never said if he was married or not, if he actually had a wife. I'd like to find out what the hell happened to the mother. Was there a mother? There should have been a mother. How else are we going to get a kid? Was the mother alive or dead? Were they separated, divorced? And he's got custody of the kid? Then the mother would be coming in and taking care of the child. Yeah, you looked at the articles and then you try to talk about them. I have to look at it deeper than that. The behind the scenes, the background of it. The in-depth. See, that's the thing concerning about the news that we react to. Instant right there, and that's what we react to. Well, we don't know the full story until the rest of it starts to get unveiled, and then we have to react to that. Now, if we're going to be talking about politics, how about Texas going against the Supreme Court and lost, and Texas gave the Supreme Court in the United States the bird because they're going to protect their border one way or another. And they're going to keep up the razor wire. And the Supreme Court was not Well, let's just say the Supreme Court did not give any specific details on what should have been done. The problem is with the Supreme Court, they can tell you if you've got the right or not. It's the lower courts that would have the option of saying, what's the mechanics of it? I bring back to, what was it, the 1970s, Skokie, Illinois versus the American Nazi Party. I've said this before in a few other videos concerning about the racism situation, but this is not. I'm looking at the civil rights at this point over here. I'm looking at the mechanics right now. Okay. Reiterating the whole damn thing. Bad guy, bad, loudmouth, Nazi guys go through a town. They want to terrorize. They want to be a pain in the ass. The town arrests them, tries them, convicts them. They appeal it. They overturn it. Goes to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court's looking at the situation as whether or not a freedom of speech has been violated, which was the main contention of the appeal to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, nope, the town cannot curtail your freedom of speech, especially if you wanted to protest. But that's about it. It's the lower courts, and the city has to do the meat and potatoes on this. We can guarantee you the freedom of speech to be a complete asshats at this point. But the thing of it is, on this one, they can guarantee you the right to do it, but they got to tell you where and when, and whether or not you need permits for not. If you don't have the permits for it, for what you want to do, well, you ain't going to do it. Okay, let's bring up January 6th. We had a rally between the White House and Congress. And old gas bag was stirring up people. And then he leaves for his home in the White House at that time. But the people are so stirred up and motivated, they want to cause holy hell. So they go over to Congress. And they start chanting and they start going crazy. But then again, they want to break into the place to stop the process, the democratic process that we had for over 200 and God knows how many decades of how the system works. If they were just staying outside the building, on the grounds, screaming, yelling, shouting, signs posted all over the damn place, that would have been legal. Here's a reason why I'm saying this thing. I'm trying to show you the mechanism. And let's just say if they were busted by Capitol Police for demonstrating without proper permits or something like that, they could bring it up to the district courts, they could bring it up to the appellate courts, and then they could bring it up to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court actually decided you had violated their freedom of speech, they have the right to protest because of the First Amendment. Okay, fine. But the mechanism of the actual protest, that would be in question. That would have been in question if they had not stormed the Capitol, if they had not broken in, done stuff, hurt people, killed people, allowed people to be dead, and going over and stealing and pilfering, pillaging, plundering like pirates, all in the name of patriotism and freedom, all in the name of the stolen vote. I didn't see them protesting. I didn't hear them protesting all throughout the 50 states. But they come and gathering at the Capitol to stop the process. and terrified a hell of a lot of people. That in itself was crimes right there. The freedom of speech for them to say what they had to say. I mean, they could have done that outside the Capitol. They could have had permits for it, but they didn't. But let's just say if they actually did have permits, okay? Let's just say if they actually did have permits. Mechanics, okay? Mechanics, think of that one. What would have happened if they did not go into the Capitol? Process would have been done. But if they got into the Capitol, even though if they got permits, they would have been in violation of the Capitol, D.C. Rules, laws, regulations, and federal. Of course, they could go into the state capitals and protest there, and they still get hauled off. Mechanics, but they still have protested. First Amendment, no violations there if they were actually allowed to say something, but they still had to go through the mechanics. As in the rules and regulations of the lower courts and of the lower echelon of making the rules and regulations there, what you can and can't do. Oh, I got the freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want. I'm an American. Is that with a capital A or is that the capital A in it? We're talking about, trying not to get off topic here, is a correction officer who swore to uphold the laws of the state and also the U.S. Constitution. You don't take those lightly. Which means now you are accountable and transparent and responsible. Which meant he should have known better what the hell happened. But even if he did discharge his weapon, he would have been required, extremely required, to give aid and not just leave the guy there. That's another mistake he made on his part. Having the thing escalated where he had to use his firearms, and that's probably violations right there. Secondly, he left the guy alone, dying, or somebody else had to call 911 and rush him to the hospital, and then he died from the gunshot wounds. It may suck. We may feel sorry for the bastard, and I do feel sorry for the bastard a little bit because he's going to be losing his daughter. That's what I feel mostly sorry for. And if there are any family for that little that child to be taken care of, I hope so. Because now the child's more the victim of this whole situation here. And it sucks. And also I was talking about Abbott and the Supreme Court, because I wanted to switch over to that one again. You got Abbott trying to do his political crap. He's sending people over from the border to other cities in different states, violating commerce by transporting and trafficking in immigrants. I hadn't heard any Supreme Court decisions on this one, nor any court decisions about this one, nor filings on the governor regarding the situation. The governor of Texas was doing human trafficking. Send the immigrants to other places, just not to our border. But we still need to protect the sovereignty of Texas because. So we're going to arm up with barbed wire, more and more of it. Despite the fact the Supreme Court said you don't have the right to do that. Only the federal government can do that. And they're saying, well, we're getting inundated. So there. This sets a very, very bad precedent here, Daryl. It being that if the states are actually going to be going against the Supreme Court, and maybe the Supreme Court, regarding its conservative idiots voted by Trump and others had deemed the court to be less effective. That's a thing to think about, isn't it? That's a scary situation right there. So yeah, this is going to be one hell of a time. So on local and national, now I switch to more of my local out here. I've got inspection happening today between 1 and 4 of the place. It's not cleaned up. I still got to get some stuff taken care of in this place. I still got a roach war. They're still spraying for it, and it's not doing a damn shit because I think these guys are immune to it. And even if I happen to start cleaning up the whole place around here, they're still coming out of the woodworks. Eventually, they're going to be recommending this whole damn place to be, nuked with a lot of chemicals. I'm going to be spending a hell of a lot of money regarding the damn food being replaced all over again. Even for the stuff that's already been in secured containers that hadn't been opened, or even secured containers of stuff that's already been opened. And not to mention every other damn thing around here I'm going to have to dust off or wipe down, making it more inconvenient. I mean, I know. Why don't you move? And here's the other situation. The rental, the housing situation out here in California, especially in SoCal, even in the deserts, suck. We got other people trying to build up low-income housing, but they've already got long waits. They already got a long waiting list. Now, basically, I'm stuck where the hell I am. So, I got to make the best of this damn insane asylum. It's insane, but it's still a roof over the damn head. I still got food. I'm still able to cook in a damn stove that's not broken down just yet. And the freezer unit, I'm not quite sure if it's still going to continue to sputtering on or not. As long as I still got some stuff to be chilled out, I'll survive. I'll manage. Dry goods, I'm not worried about. It's the stuff to be stored into the refrigerator. But what I'm also saying that whether or not I'm going to get bug spraying in this place on a severe thing, then I might as well throw every damn piece of food I've got in this place. Every piece of food out of here. And then have to refill it again. That's going to be about $500 worth. I haven't got that. If they're gonna do it before my birthday hits, if they hit it afterwards, I'm going to be struggling like crazy for the next month on this one. So, correction officer may have his day in court. Texas is going to have another field day with the United States government. I got to deal with management here. If my brother and my mother were here, oh my God, they'd be on my ass on this shit. No. Actually, they'd be on their ass for this shit. Management's ass. Are we having fun yet? I don't think so.